Alright, chat. Alright, chat. Alright, Hancock. Y'all don't know who Hancock is. One of the most underrated superheroes of all time. He will literally put a head up the ass of anyone who fucks with him. The most disrespectful superhero of all time. Hopefully it's the scene. I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
All units, I repeat, we need backup right now.
The scene opens with three guys lighting the city up like it's GTA. They've got a chopper tailing them, so it's safe to say they're at least clocking like 3 stars. Meanwhile, Hancock, aka Will Smith, is slumped over on a bench, drunk as hell. He definitely went on a bender the night before. This kid strolls up on him like, bro,
you ain't seeing all this chaos on the news? Maybe go be a hero or something.
He was hung.
Is that the kid from The Middle?
Strolls up on him like, bro,
you ain't seeing.
Was he in this movie? There's no fucking way. Is that the dude from The Middle? Like, if you ever seen The Middle, you know what kid I'm talking about. What the fuck? He was in this?
All this chaos on the news? Maybe go be a hero or something.
He was hungover bad. Brody did not want to go play hero, but he said, grabbed his bottle and took off. I've never seen drunk flying before, but apparently this is what it looks like. Straight up crashing into signs and taking out police? Nah, this is criminal. He rips the roof off the felon's whip, lands in the back seat, and the criminals are sitting there in disbelief. Cause real shit, what do you do in this situation? Ooh. Hancock tells them to stop shouting and chill out, or his head is going up the driver's ass, and the driver's head is going up his ass. And yeah, they didn't really like where that was going. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
At him, lighting him up, shattering his liquor bottle, and that's a big no-no to an alcoholic. He slams his foot onto the ground, forcing the car to a dead stop, then picks it up and had those dudes screaming for their lives. And Hancock,
honestly, bro, if a nigga was bullet, like, say this, if you are shooting at a nigga and none of the bullets obviously can affect him or kill him, that's a point in time where I'm like, you know what, this shit is not for me. Because if a motherfucker rolls up on me and he got the skin of Luke Cage and Hancock and shit, I don't want to fuck with it. Because never mind.
Him up, shattering his liquor bottle, and that's a big no-no to an alcoholic. He slams his foot onto the ground, forcing the car to a dead stop, then picks it up and had those dudes screaming for their lives. And Hancock really didn't give a fuck, cause how the hell are you smashing into the side of an entire building? Like, come on, gang, that might go towards our taxes. So a chopper flies by and this nigga just drops the whip like nothing. And if I was in that car, that alone would have been enough to send me straight to the pearly gate.
Bro, that alone would have been just like even if I would have survived, like, us falling, because I'm pretty sure he catches them, doesn't he?
Ready for this concert. Right before it hits the ground, he snags it up again, then smacks it against another building. They start begging him to put them back down, and he's like, I bet. Tossing the car up, then jumps on it, and it goes piercing straight through the pinnacle. And yeah, like, it's safe to say, this might be the worst use of superpowers I've ever seen. And listen, I'm not too sure if he's officially a comic book character, but his badges are tough. I can't lie. He got super strength, flight, near invulnerability, and he's been living for centuries. Basically the same amount of time Bron's been carrying the league.
True.
So the police department, the government, and just about every civilian in town finally said enough is enough when it comes to this man. And seriously, can we address the elephant in the room? The man's name is Hancock. Like, hey, yo, you can't tell me if he wasn't superhuman, he wouldn't be getting fried every day. But all jokes aside, this dude is causing more property damage than the criminals he's stopping. So the people are over it. They want him gone like Congress wants TikTok wiped off the map. Hey. And I don't blame them. So Ray, aka Stupid, finds himself stuck on the train tracks. He tries to bail out but manages to snap his own door handle. So he just slumps back, eyes closed, basically accepting his fate like, well, guess this is it. But Hancock pulls up like, what the hell you doing, and flips the entire car off the tracks. And this nigga just stands there letting the train completely smash right into him. And yeah, we're all thinking the same thing, like, really, bro? You couldn't just fly up? You couldn't just move out the way? And look at the damage that this guy has caused. He's a real mess. All the people start growling at him, but Ray sticks up for him for saving his life. Hancock then drops him home because, I mean, I don't think his whip was drivable, then gets invited in for dinner. And this nigga had no decorum whatsoever. He was eating like it was his last meal. And when he was done, he left with the whole wine bottle. These are the type of niggas that you can't take everywhere.
These are the type of niggas you can't take everywhere. I mean, think about it. Who's gonna stop him, though? You gonna try and stop him? Who will win in a fight, chat? Homelander or Hancock?
When he was done, he left with the whole wine bottle. These are the type of niggas that you can't take everywhere. He pulls back up the next day and of course he drills another hole on the road. Like, you can't make this shit up. Erlen Haaland at the back calls him an asshole, which immediately triggers Hancock. He walks right up to him, takes off his shades and tells him that's really not a nice thing to say to people. But Haaland don't give a fuck. He's like,
You behave like an asshole.
Hancock tells him, yo, you better stop calling me that. But if you know football, you know Haaland loves a good hat trick. So he says it 3 more times.
Asshole. Why asshole? Asshole.
Hancock gives him that look, kinda like the one he gave Chris Rock right before slapping the fire out of him. And says, call me asshole one more time. But Haaland don't give a damn. He says that shit again, and pow! Sends his ass flying.
Bro, like, if I was a kid, or if I'm this kid's fucking friends, and I would have seen this nigga did this shit, I promise you I would have ran, or I would have not even told a trusted adult. Because the thing is, what do you realistically do in this shit? He told you stop saying it. You kept saying it. Hey, man, that motherfucker was the definition of fuck these kids. And I agree. No diddy. But these little niggas need to learn, bro. If you got consequences for these actions.
More time. But Haaland don't give a damn. He says that shit again. And pow! Sends his ass flying to the sky. And his 2 little sidekicks wanted no part of that ride. And
I'm telling you. Hey, bro, you got it. Like, you got it. You got it. That little nigga must have been traumatized, bro.
Do I blame him? No. My ass went on a Batman roller coaster when I was 11, and no amusement park has seen me since. Ray steps out and they start chatting for a bit. Mid-conversation, Hancock catches this kid, and he had that boy rethinking his whole life. I guarantee you that night he slept something like this. And remember, for the city, this is nothing new. Ray literally shows Hancock viral YouTube clips of him being reckless. And yes, he does pull more views than me. The US Constitution is fed up with Hancock. They want him behind bars. Ray, on the other hand, has what he thinks is a genius plan. Hancock should turn himself in for 2 weeks so people actually miss him and maybe realize how much they actually need him. And somehow he convinces Hancock to do it. Crazy, right? Because if I had superpowers, the last place you gonna find me is behind
jail,
bars.
yeah.
So he apologizes to the public and checks himself into prison. Not even 2 minutes inside and every inmate is staring at him like he fresh meat. The Big Show steps in front of him, blocking his path. Hancock glances left and right and it finally clicks. Every single one of these guys are in here because of him. Talk about an awkward family reunion. He politely asks if he can just head to his cell. But these 2 dudes don't budge an inch. One of them even looks at him crazy. So Hancock warns them, if you don't move, your head's going up his ass. The inmate
This has to be the stupidest scene in history because why are you testing a motherfucker with powers? Do you think they gonna nerf this nigga if he gets in here? They don't know what to do. They're gonna put you in here with him. And you thought, yeah, let me test this nigga with the no.
inmates start laughing and Hancock's like, y'all sure y'all wanna ride this train? And this nigga's like, choo choo. And yeah. This has to be the worst possible
Oh my god, it's all the way in there, bro, too. No.
thing that can happen.
I don't even think, nah, fuck that. I wish this upon my worst enemy. I said, nah, I do wish this upon my worst enemy. But chat, think about this shit for a second. That's a man's head in another man's ass. Hancock was a straight menace. And he told y'all, do you really want to do this shit? And y'all open this can of worms just to get your ass literally oh my god, too. Who has it worse? The motherfucker with the head in the asshole or the nigga with a head in his asshole? Who has it really worse? Oh my god. This just looks so fucking uncomfortable. And there's not like a thing you can say to be like, I need to, oh my god.
To anyone, period. The inmate's reaction had me dying. And honestly, which position is worse, A or B? Let me know in the comments. Ray gets called in after hearing what Hancock did. And the DA office wants to lock him up for 8 years. The second Hancock catches a wind of that, he's like, excuse me? Cuts straight through the glass and tells Ray, run that by me again? Then he just gets up and busts right through the door, letting everybody know that jail is his choice, not theirs. Ray hits him with that sweet talk about how miserable he's gonna be for the rest of his life if he doesn't do this the right way. And yeah, somehow that guilt trip worked. Hancock decides to stay in for a few more weeks, even though he can clearly walk out whenever he wanted to. So the crime rate shoots up to 30%. and the chief of police calls him in for help. And he's like, I bet, and flies right to the hostage situation, wearing some tight-ass leather suit, probably Edna's work. As he's walking towards the building, they shoot a rocket at him, and he slaps it away, blowing up the car. Then rushes the injured officer to safety. And you could tell he has zero clue on how to be a hero. Bro was awkward as hell, and it was kind of funny to watch, I can't lie. The robbers stop shooting and stand there looking scared as hell. Bro starts flying in and out the window, taking them out one by one, which has the leader flipping out, yelling at the hostages. And trust me, even if they're new, why would they tell you? Hancock finally reveals himself. I thought they had you in the slander. Nah, I got out early. That don't matter anyways. I need you to break inside that vault, grab me my bread, or all these hostages are getting first class seats to see the man above. Yeah, threatening a superhuman is wild.
Like, it's a stupid. I don't understand. Do these niggas not think? Why would you threaten a motherfucker that can literally just? Oh, dude, this. It's like you aren't in a position to make demands anymore at that point.
Hancock tries giving him the benefit of the doubt, but he drops that word.
Do you hear me, asshole?
And yeah, he was walking out with his hand still on the trigger. So now everyone's cheering for him and he's finally getting some love. Fast forward and we find out that Ray's wife also has powers. Hancock tries kissing Mary and she straight up tosses him right across the house onto the street. Bro was flabbergasted. She threatens him not to tell anyone about her abilities or he's gonna be on a t-shirt. The next day, Hancock wanted answers about who they really were and where they came from. But she was dodging his questions and capping like crazy. So he says, fine, I'm gonna tell Ray, then flies off. She definitely wasn't gonna let that slide. She catches up to him, spearing him right into the mountain, and that must have hurt with or without powers. He gonna struggle to get out of bed tomorrow. Mary was chasing him for a while until they crash land right into the city, destroying everything on sight.
God
And imagine
damn.
this dude had a passenger. GG's
Man.
gang. Hancock calls her crazy, and that sets her off. Turns out she got the same thing he got. He calls her crazy again. This time she picks up a truck and smacks it on his head.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
And I can't lie, she might actually be crazy because she switches the weather
She
and
might
spawns
actually
like
be
3
crazy.
tornadoes out of nowhere. They fly up and start scrapping, tearing the city apart. And honestly, these two might be causing more property damage than the Avengers. They rip right through Ray's office, and imagine you're Ray looking down and the first thing you see is this. My heart would have just dropped to my ass because I would have thought Hancock just smashed my wife all over the city. And the worst bit about it, I can't do shit. Mary finally comes
Worst bit about it is I can't do shit.
out clean, and it turns out that her and Hancock have been together for centuries. Yup, they're the last two of their species. As why she kept this from the Fresh Prince, I couldn't tell you. All this new information had Hancock stressed. And what do alcoholics do when they're stressed? Yup, you guessed it, he goes straight to the liquor store. But when he's there, he notices the shop owner acting a little weird and realizes the place was getting robbed. He breaks the counter and sends this nigga flying right into the fridge. God damn. The second gunman grabs the owner, threatening to smoke him. So Hancock snatches a chocolate bar and hurls it right at dude, knocking him out cold. But in the process, Hancock takes a few bullets. Usually that wouldn't bother him, except this time. He looks down and he's bleeding. Bro must have used up all his lives. I know a nigga who went through this. He gets rushed to the hospital and the number of doctors swarming him is wild. He definitely had health insurance. Mary explains that he's not going to heal this time because the closer they are together, the more mortal they become. And this right here is nefarious work because all she has to do is literally fly off and he'll literally start healing. But no, her ass is right by his bedside sweet talking. Like, bitch, if you don't fly off and save Will Smith. Anyways, those two train
Like,
right
bitch, you don't fly off and save Will Smith.
they showed up to the hospital. I have no clue how they escaped prison, but that's not even the wildest part. Somehow they're walking together like nothing happened. Let's be real, if my head ever ended up in someone's cheeks or vice versa, we could never be in the same country, let alone side by side. The Big Show walks in and shoots Mary 3 times, dropping her. Hancock whips the bed right at them, knocking both of them out. He grabs Mary and takes her to another room, then spins the block, walking right up to the dude who shot her and tossing him straight out the window. He better know how to fly because they're on the 20th floor. More shooters pull up, blasting away. Hancock drops one, picks him up, flies onto the roof, knocking his head. The next guy gets chokeslammed right into the light. Shit gave me flashbacks of Kane. Hancock was really cooking these dudes, but that did not last. He gets shanked in the back, then kisses this metal pole 3 times. Had him dazed. Steve Rogers can relate, but he was still on his feet, so he smacks him one more time for good luck, knocking him to the ground. I bet Chris Rock watches this scene whenever he's down, probably kicking his feet. Mary ends up completely being unconscious because she's feeling everything that's happening to Hancock, which is wild. This dude picks him up and starts choking him, had Hancock gasping for air. It wasn't looking good. Imagine getting clapped by Ed Sheeran. You do not want this on your resume. So Hancock had to lock in. He grabs his nuts, which is wild. Picks him up and yanks him out the window. And this just had me thinking, is this why his name's Hancock? He tries
Hey, what the fuck?
You do not want this on your resume. So Hancock had to lock in. He grabs his nuts, which is
And I know that shit hurts, bro. Hey.
You do not want this on your resume. So Hancock had to lock in. He grabs his nuts, which is wild. picks him up and yanks him out the window. And this just had me thinking, is this why his name's Hancock? He tries to distance himself from Mary, but this guy shows up and starts unloading on him, knocking him to his knees. Just as he's about to end Hancock, Ray comes from behind and slices his hand right off, confirming that he will never be able to wipe his ass ever again. Ray then knocks him out, but it was too late. Hancock's heart stops. Psych!
Hell yeah. Hey, yo, W video. Holy shit. Hancock was a fucking